Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about my personal fleet and kind of give you guys a fleet update video post Invictus. Now, I know a lot of people make these videos, and I've made one of these videos in the past. I have made an exposing my fleet video, a complete deep dive into the ships that I've chosen and why, and I will leave that video linked in the video description below if you guys want to check it out. But this fleet has changed a bit, especially after this Invictus, because now I want to kind of solidify the ships that I have and kind of stay with the fleet. Like, so this year, I kind of want to make the fleet that I have when the game comes out, regardless of what CIG announces or puts out in the future. Now, of course, I do want to leave a little bit of wiggle room in there because there is a certain type of ship that I'm interested in getting if CIG makes that ship. But aside from that, which we'll get into that in this video, I kind of want to nail down the ships that I have in my fleet. And that gives me the ability to focus on the ships that I want to earn in game. Okay, so let's kind of get into this video a little bit, and I'll kind of go over why I have some of these ships and my intended gameplay for it. And I want you guys advice at the end of this video for kind of what I should do with these ships over here. So I'll talk about this a little bit after, but I'll start on this side basically. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Well, for starters, we have the Polaris, and I've talked about this ship in length a number of times before. I think the Polaris really is exciting for a lot of people right now because one, it's projected to come out this year, and two, primarily it's gonna fit right into the role that the Carrack is currently for a lot of orgs and a lot of group players. Okay, right now the Carrack is kind of like that small carrier ship that has the respawn ability. CIG has changed the respawn mechanics, so now you can respawn from a colorless red, you can respawn from a C8 R Pisces, you can respawn from the new medical Ursa, the Nursa, many people have been calling it, and I like that nickname. I think that that mechanic alone has changed up a lot of the Carrack's role, and for the most part, a lot of the features that the Carrack has isn't currently in game. So a lot of people have the Carrack right now because of that mid bay, because of the cargo, because of you know, its ability to carry, you know, the ground vehicles and have turrets for all of your friends if you get into combat. But again, the Polaris has a lot of turrets for all of your friends. It has a much larger hangar for a medium fighter or a small industrial ship. It has you know, a ton of cargo in it for those purposes. If you want to carry a ground vehicle like the medical Nursa and do those types of ground combat things, and of course the med bay for respawning. And of course, if you have something like the Nursa or the medical Pisces, those only have one medical bed in them, while this, I believe, has 3 med bays. So I think that for a lot of people, for what the Carrack is currently used for in game, I think the Polaris is going to slot right in that role for a lot of people. So it's very exciting on top of having torpedoes. It's very exciting. I think this ship is going to be on a lot of people's radar. It's in my fleet. Okay, so next I want to talk about the Galaxy. And for me personally, this is probably what I see as my daily flagship. The ship that is probably going to get more use than the Polaris. But again, we'll see. The Polaris is coming out first. Right now, the Galaxy's loaner is a Carrack, and I'll tell you guys, I almost never use that thing. It is just, you know, collecting mothballs in the ASOP terminal list. That's just about it. But I do definitely see myself using the Galaxy specifically for a number of reasons. One, modularity. Modularity is a big deal with the Retaliator on how easy it is to use. If you have those modules, you just go on your mobiGlas and swap them out. I think it's a very smooth and seamless workflow, just kind of like changing weapons or skins on a ship. So in my opinion, it's going to be very easy to outfit this ship depending on the gameplay you want to do that play session. If, you know, you want to put a medical module in there, you want to put a cargo module, refining module, base building, whatever. The primary use that I'm going to use the Galaxy for is definitely going to be base building, and it's definitely going to be cargo running. The refinery module, I'm not too into that. I'm not a you know, I've done a lot of mining over the years. I think mining is a good gameplay loop, but it's not, I don't want to own a mining ship in my hangar. If I do get into mining again sometime in the future, I want to buy that ship in game. On my account specifically, I want specific ships that I think encompass gameplay that I am going to interface with the most, basically. And this ship, I bought some LTI token, and this ship also has lifetime insurance. But yeah, I plan on using this ship primarily for cargo running and base building. This is gonna be my daily flagship, I guess you could call it. And then moving down here, we got the Retaliator. The Retaliator was kind of a surprise for me, and before Invictus, I really didn't expect it to be in my hangar. Okay, but as I kind of use it and think about what this ship is good at, it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me. Again, it's not, I'm not saying that this ship is going to be in my fleet forever. I might move things around and get rid of it. But I think that right now it has, you know, roughly 74 SC of cargo, so it has a little bit more than something like the C1 that I've been using a lot. It has you know, 6 size 2 shields, so that's a lot of shields. It has turrets, and kind of the way I look at it, especially for that size of you know, cargo running, it is a big ship though. That is kind of like its biggest downside, but for that kind of everyday cargo running, I think it kind of actually makes sense, you know. I think that if you want to take it out with friends, the firepower is, of course, going to be great to be able to defend that cargo again. It is pretty quick. It is pretty maneuverable. It does have it is getting upgunned. Apparently, CIG is, you know, increasing the guns on this ship. So if you do decide to take it out with friends, you know, you have all of those turrets on your side. If you decide to solo it and do cargo, it is relatively shielded, you know, because it has no pilot controlled guns. And the way I kind of look at cargo running solo is that you kind of just don't need pilot controlled guns. In my personal opinion, the best strategy if other players pull up on you, pirates pull up on you, is to just fly as fast as you can in one direction. And if anybody out there is a pirate and they're watching this, you know that that's the best strategy. You know, that it's the best way to evade. It's something that I've said from very beginning, day one, just telling people, point your ship in a direction, fly as straight as you can, as fast as you can in that direction. And especially now with master modes, they gotta slow down to shoot at you. So, you know, you hop in quantum mode, you go as fast as you can, you boost, you jump, you're kind of out of there. I think that, you know, if you're solo cargo running, don't even worry about guns. It doesn't really matter. If you have a friend on board in a turret that can fire backwards, it just increases your chances of survivability. But I don't think if you're hauling cargo, you want to get into a dogfight with a bunch of pirates. To me, that's just a bad idea. Don't do it. What I do look for in a cargo ship is a turret. So that way, if I am with a friend, they could hop into it and fire backwards. But I'm not going to use any guns as the pilot of that ship. Okay, so I think the Retaliator actually works perfect for that. It has no pilot control guns, but it has a ton of turrets. So I think that's kind of a better strategy than having a bunch of pilot control guns. And the SCU number is pretty good. I think 74. That's kind of around the same SCU amount as, you know, something like the Corsair. And then we have the Zeus Mark II CL. For me, this is going to be my new daily driver. It has a lot of cargo. It does have pilot control guns, but it also has that remote turret on the bottom. So if you have, you know, a friend with you, they can use that to fire at the, you know, whoever's chasing you, pirates, whatever. And I think this ship is going to be very interesting. It has that secondary entrance and exit, so you don't have to go to the back ramp every time. And for me, that is definitely a priority in a daily ship. It's also pretty small at 46 meters long. I think that this ship is just going to be so versatile for what I want to do. I use the C1 a lot right now. C1 is just a tad bigger than this, and it has, you know, about half the cargo. So the Mark II CL, I think that's going to be my daily driver. That ship is definitely not going anywhere. Then we have the Vulture. Of course, you guys know I'm a big salvage guy. I really enjoy the gameplay loop. I think that that's going to be my kind of primary industrial ship. The Vulture is definitely not going anywhere. The gameplay is exactly what I want it to be. I do think that salvage, as it is right now, can definitely get upgraded. Of course, it will with crafting and different things coming up, but I also think that CIG can add in some type of you know, RMC refining or RMC sorting for where you like separate the materials in the construction materials. I've talked about that in a previous video where I think that construction materials should be a refinable or sortable material. So you can, you know, get multiple crafting materials. Like if you break down a ship, for instance, it's gonna have plastic and metal and, you know, all of the things that make up that ship. And right now that's kind of just simplified as construction materials, but I think that, you know, when crafting comes out, construction materials will be able to become refined, and you can break down those construction materials into kind of their base materials. I think that would be a very cool gameplay. I'm looking forward to that as kind of the next stage in salvage. So the Vulture, definitely not going anywhere. I'm really happy to have the Vulture in my hangar. That ship, it gets used a lot. It's kind of like a daily driver, but again, I only really take it out when I plan on going salvaging. I do want to talk more about salvage, but we'll get into that. The next ship is the Hornet Mark II. Okay, you guys know, again, I love the Hornet series. It is the most iconic ship in my opinion in Star Citizen. That original Kickstarter trailer with Chris Roberts talking, sitting in the cockpit of the Hornet. When I think Star Citizen, I think of the Hornet. It is such a beautiful ship. The updated lines, the sleekness of it, the firepower, you know, doing you know, different missions in this this ship, combat missions, atmospheric missions. It just feels great to fly, shoot, use. I know, you know, people think that there's kind of an issue with the handling on the nose. I really enjoyed this ship. I like it's how customizable it is. You can, you know, put different guns on the wings, the nose, the turret. You can put the cargo box on there. It's a very versatile medium fighter, and for PvE content, this is kind of all you need in my opinion. Then I have the PTV. This is a referral bonus thing. It's kind of fun to just mess around with, but it's not going anywhere because I can't do anything with it. Then we have the ships that are kind of on the chopping block, and this is what I want you guys' opinion for. Okay, so we'll kind of go over the the Super Hornet here at the top because it's a little bit easier. And this is kind of like an amalgamation of different ships. I melted Fury, Avenger, a couple of other things, and I bought back the Super Hornet. The Super Hornet is something that comes and goes in my hangar a lot whenever there is the buyback tokens come around, because again, you guys know I love the Hornet. It is a very enjoyable ship, but now that I have the Mark II, it does seem kind of undergunned in comparison. Again, they're pretty much even in my opinion from where I stand using them in PvE content, using it for PvE content. But I don't really need two Hornets in my hangar, so I'm thinking about two routes. So this Freelancer Max here is just kind of placeholder, but what I'm interested in is for CIG to release some type of, you know, salvage ship that is a tier above the Vulture. Let's say this is around 100 SCU. This is really kind of, you know, the ship that I'm kind of looking for is, you know, same kind of soloable salvage ship. It could have additional turrets. I don't have a problem with that. Maybe, you know, it has a pilot seat and then it has a salvage sheet, something kind of around the size of a mole, that again has about 100 SU. And the reason why I kind of want this ship is because if you use the Vulture very often, you'll notice something is that once you kind of salvage one ship, you gotta go back, and it you know, it fills up pretty quick realistically. Of course, if you're just finding the panels of ships in space, you can find a bunch of different panels, but when you're actually salvaging ships, especially moving forward with the way the game is going, you're gonna want to get the components from that ship. You're gonna want to get the guns from that ship, and once you have the RMC and the construction materials, you really have no space in the Vulture to do multiple runs or anything like that. I think if the players got a 100 SCU, or, you know, even 64 SCU salvage ship, that would kind of be in the sweet spot where you could get all of the components, all of the guns from a ship, and you still have room for your construction materials and your RMC. So I think that that's the ship that I'm kind of holding out for, with in terms of the Super Hornet, kind of in that $200 to $250 price point. I think because the Vulture is like 175, so I think maybe 250 to 300 realistically. I think if CIG released a ship like that, that would be an easy upgrade for me for the Super Hornet. And another avenue that I've been considering is the E1. Okay, so I kind of like this idea of, you know, the space Uber, you know, that gameplay loop, especially again the way the game is going. CIG is talking about improving the beacon system, but if you look at engineering in the future, and this is just kind of like my, you know, 5-head, you know, mental gymnastics, you know, way down in the future type scenario, I think that ships are going to start blowing up a lot less. And since that's the case, you're going to find yourself stranded on planets a lot more instead of just dead and back in the hospital. Right now, if you crash on a planet, you die instantly and you wake up in the hospital. Okay, in the future, your ship will just become disabled and you'll be standing in a wreck. Now, at that point, you're stranded. So players are going to need other players to come and pick them up, take them to the spaceport or whatever. I think that some type of taxi ship could be very lucrative, and I kind of like that gameplay. I like that gameplay, you know, uh go to the convenience store, buy a bunch of waters, buy a bunch of energy bars, get some med pens laid out on the table, let them know, you know, here's some freebies. They sit in the back, relax, watch space in the clouds and stuff go by. uh, I think that would be interesting gameplay, something that, you know, I think would be a little bit different. So yeah, I'm interested in the E1. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. You think I should hold out for this, you know, imaginary future salvage ship, or try to get the E1, this aUEC, okay? And so then we have the 600i towing. This ship, I kind of just bought it to be screenshot citizen, okay? I wanted to fly around, visit rivers, caves, whatnot, take screenshots, you know, just, this is the ship that, you know, I spent a lot of money on my account. I just honestly, and again, just full transparency, full honesty with you guys, I have no reason to lie to you guys. I just bought this ship because I thought it was cool. That's it. That was a cool ship. The 600i Explore, I don't really see myself needing that because I have the Galaxy, and I'd rather have the modularity that the Galaxy offers than the 600i Explorer. Now the Explorer is a really cool ship. It has that armory, med bay, it can hold a tank, it's getting upgrade in cargo, and it does still have that luxury, but you know, the luxury is nice, and of course it has those 3 size 5 pilot controlled guns. But like I kind of said in the past, when it comes to solo cargo running, I don't need guns. I won't use it. I'll be honest with you guys, I have never once used my guns against pirates while trading cargo and been successful. It just doesn't apply to me. You might do that, but I do not need guns when I'm solo running cargo. I need turrets, okay? And the Galaxy has a lot of good turrets. The 600i does too, but you know, the Galaxy has good turrets. If I'm running cargo with friends, they can get in the turrets and help me. You know, I could put a Fury in the back of the hangar, and you know, a buddy could go in the Fury and you know, support that way. I think it just makes a lot more sense. The Galaxy, for what I want to do personally, I think it makes more sense, and it has more cargo capacity than what the 600i might be upgraded to. I don't think that the 600i Explorer is gonna have, you know, 500 600 SU of cargo. I think it'll probably be more around 200. So for me, I don't need the Explorer, and this is the possible option here because I do have an upgrade to an Explorer. So this ship right here, I don't think I'm gonna get that. So the other option for this ship is just if this hypothetical you know, medium size salvage ship is like $450, which would be interesting because the Reclaimer's kind of in that price range, I believe. I could be wrong, correct me in the comments down below, but I believe the Reclaimer's like 450 or something like that. I haven't looked at the price. I'm not interested in the Reclaimer. It's just not my aesthetic. I'm more interested in the Drake aesthetic. So hopefully Drake manufactures this medium-sized salvage ship. And over here I have the Ironclad. So this is just a bunch of caterpillars to represent the Ironclad. And for me personally, the reason why I think the Ironclad is so interesting is because of that the top doors on it being able to open up. Now I don't really intend to use it as a any type of mini carrier or anything like that, but I think that having that enclosed cargo area is something that I'm looking for. And the SU amount, it can carry a lot of SU, and if my Galaxy's kind of outfitted to be, you know, primarily base building, having that that max, I think about 1500 SU of cargo. I think that's really interesting number. I don't know what that's gonna what effect that's gonna have on the economy, or if those types of ships will have a dedicated gameplay. And if that is the case, the Ironclad will be the cheapest ship with that kind of SCU. If you're comparing it to something like the Hull C, the Kraken, the Merchantman, all of those ships with over 1,000 SU of cargo, I don't know what that gameplay looks like, but just in case, to have that the option to get involved in that kind of gameplay as somebody who's very interested in trading and cargo, I think it makes sense for me to have this ship, especially at this price point. Again, if the Ironclad's like $700, I'd be like, no way. But I think this was just like from the touring, I think this was just like a $20 upgrade. So I jumped on that. It made a lot of sense to get a war bond upgrade from the touring to the Ironclad. I believe it was war bond. Again, I'm not sure if they had war bond on that, but I just picked up an upgrade from the touring to the Ironclad, and I think the Ironclad makes sense in terms of what I want to do with my fleet, to have a kind of dedicated maximum payload cargo ship. And again, with the way that the cargo refactor is going, having those top doors for doing salvage, I kind of feel like this is something that you could use, of course, for orgs in a group. It does have a higher crew capacity, crew requirement than something like a C2 or the Galaxy, but you don't really want to move 1500 SC of cargo by yourself. That's really something you want to use with your friends. So I think the ship makes sense for me. I think the ship is at a good price point. Drake usually has pretty affordable ships, except the Cutlass Steel. That ship makes no sense price wise. It is the cheapest drop ship, but it's still overpriced in my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, if what I should do with these two ships in the comments down below. But I don't want to take up too much more of you guys' time. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is kind of like the state of the fleet. This is kind of what I'm working with right now. Let me know about you guys' fleets in comments down below. What ships are you excited for? I love hearing from you guys. So yeah, like I always say at the end of these videos, you guys like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salute.